Hey guys, welcome to Cacao Academy channel with Igal, and today I'd like to break down one of the interview questions that a friend of mine recently got asked. Honestly, I haven't seen this question before, and it seems to be quite interesting and quite unusual as well. So in this video we're gonna be counting the n-grams in a text. So what it means that we're going to be counting the occurrences of each contiguous space-separated word sequence in the text up to a certain length. So people who ask this question, they give us an example. Let's say we have a string which says it's not the size of a dog in a fight, it's the size of a fight in the dog. And they give us examples as well. So expected output in case n equals to 1 would be this output right here. So for expected output in case n equals 2 will be output right here. By the way, I already checked it, and it seems like they do have a typo here, but no worries, we're gonna work through it together and see what's happening. So the task is write a program that computes and writes out such counts for arbitrary values of the length parameter. So in more simplistic way, they are saying, let's say we give you n equals 3. That means don't give us just output for n equals 3, give us output for n equals 1, n equals 2, and n equals 3. Okay, so this complicates our task a little bit, but no worries, we're gonna do it. And by the way, as a part of this exercise, the friend of mine, he was also asked to write unit tests for his solution. So we're not gonna do that in this particular exercise, but I will try as much as possible break down the solution into separate functions, where each function will do one particular task, will serve one particular purpose. So if in case we decide later to write unit tests, it would be way more easier for us to construct those. Okay, so let's start working on this one. First, let's take a look at one of the patterns I came up with when I started working on this task. So basically, let's say we have a string that later results in 5 words. So let's say I have a string where my words would be A, B, C, D, E. So if I use space as a delimiter, the length of an array or whatever other placeholder I will end up with will be 5. So in this case, the n number that in case I'd like to output would be 1, right? So basically we say each word 1. So let's try to break the same string into different array where n number would be 2. So it would be A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E. Okay, so as we can see, the array number here is 1, 2, array size, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the size equals 4 in case n number equals 2. Okay, let's try to give it number 3. So we're gonna have something like A, B, C, B, C, D, and C, D, E. And as we can see, the size of array that we receive is 3. That's in case n equals 3. So it looks like we can kind of come up with a formula where we would say if original size, let's say, equals, so this would be if the original size, let's say, equals 5 in this case, right, when where n equals 1. Then to calculate final size, this one or this one, final size, we're gonna take the original size, we're gonna substitute n and add 1. So basically, if we want to check if the formula works, so as we said, the original size equal 5, let's find final size if n equals 3, so 5 minus 3 plus 1 gives us 3. Let's verify. Yep, correct, 3. Let's check again. Final size 5 if n equals 2 minus 2 plus 1 equals 4. So by using and sticking to this formula, we can actually know in advance what would be the size or number of those n-grams after we process the string based on the specified n number, and in a moment we'll see why it is so important. So let's take our string right here as an input string, collapse this thing right here, and say string input string equals. Now to make sure we do everything right, I'm gonna clean up a little bit. All right. Okay, so here is our string, and I guess the most basic function right now, method that we would like to implement, would be calculating number of occurrences based on the specified n, but for single use only. So we're not gonna output right away n when n equals 1, n equals 2, and so on and so on. So let's create one function first, and static, it will return a map of string as a key and integer as a value. We're gonna call it calculate n. So what was the n-grams? Calculate n-grams. Awesome. So we're taking a string as an input, and n as a number. All right. So first thing first, let's create our map. String integer. Let's call it final output, and I'm gonna use hash map here. All right, and somewhere around here we're gonna return our map. Okay, so far so good. Okay, next step would be to create an array from our string. So here what we're gonna do would be string array, I'll call it single words, would be input string dot split, and as the task says, we're gonna use space as a delimiter. All right. So once we have that, we can also find a number according to, if you remember, to our formula, the number of grams, n grams, that will be generated based on the n number. So let's say int n number equals single word dot length minus, let's see again, minus n plus 1, minus n plus 1. Awesome. Okay, so the preparation part is ready. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a for loop for int I equals 0, I less than n number, I plus plus. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do here. We're gonna add to our final output I number of times based on how many n grams we're expecting. So if we're expecting 4 n grams, we're gonna add a particular string n 4 numbers, 4 times, or n number of times. So let's see. First, let's build our string. So let's do string builder tmp equals new string builder. Okay. Now here we're gonna create a nested loop for int j equals 0, j less than n, and I'll explain in a second why. J plus plus. So basically, by doing this, what we tell our code is we're gonna append to our string builder each time j that would be less than n until we parse through all sequences. So basically, let's go back here. We say j would be, let's say we start from first element, so gonna be 0, and if our n equals 3, so we're gonna do 0 plus 1 plus 2. Okay, so we're gonna get these 3 words in one input. So here, now this part is specific to string builder class in Java. We say if I more than 0, tmp dash append space. So we basically tell our code to insert space like this in between elements in case first element after or before, sorry, second element, and by comparing it to 0, we know that it's not the first element. So we do not insert space before A, we're going to insert it before B and before C and so on. Okay. And tmp dash append. So we're gonna here we're gonna refer to our final output, and from final output we're gonna extract I plus j, and say oh, not final output, sorry, single words. Single words. We're going to extract I plus j. So what we're doing here is the following. We're gonna take 0 plus 0 equals 0, 0 plus 1 equals 1, 0 plus 2 equals 2, and so on based on the n that we specify here. Okay, so now comes the part that we've seen before in our exercises. Right now we're gonna validate if our string builder is already present as a key and value pair in our hash map. If it does, if it is, we simply add or increment the value by 1. If it's not present, then we add the new one with default value 1. So let's see how it works. If our final output contains key tmp to string, then we're gonna say final output put tmp to string as a key, and final output get tmp to string plus 1. Else, so if it's not present in our final output, we're gonna do the following: final output dot put tmp to string and default value 1. All right, so I guess that's it for now. Let's remove redundant lines here. Okay, I guess that's it for now. Let's try and run this method with a single n just to see if our code is working. So let's do something like so. Calculate n grams, input string 1. Let's see. All right, it looks like it's working. Let's try to specify, let's say 3. Awesome. As you can see, it's working as expected. So for now, we're gonna remove it. If you remember, the exercise was to output n grams incrementally starting from n equals 1 to n equals 2, n equals 3, and so on and so on. So the exercise requests from us to provide an output up until 2. So we're gonna do that, and for that reason, I'm gonna introduce a new function. So a new function would be public static. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna output public static void, and output or print, let's do print n grams, print n grams based on the map as a parameter, n grams. Okay, so here what we can do is introduce a for loop for map the entry string integer entry and n grams dot entry set. Here we're gonna output we're gonna output in the following manner. We're gonna say first output entry dot get key plus space com space plus entry get value dot no again to get value, and the final one would be new line, so make it new line. Okay, so this is our second function. Now let's see if the function is working. Print n-grams, what's the input string 2. Awesome, so we have a slightly better design output, and right now the very last thing that we have to do is to enclose this function in a for loop and do something like for n equals 1 and less than 3 and plus plus. So this can be designed completely different, but for the sake of exercise, this is the simplistic way of doing this, and we're gonna enclose it here. Okay, and I'm gonna say use n as a parameter, and to provide some sort of horizontal delimiter, we're gonna use something like this. So we're gonna say output when n equals plus n. Okay, and let's try to run our code. Okay, output when n equals 1, ta-da, and output when n equals 2, ta-da. So let's see. Yep. So yeah, this is the solution I came up with. Obviously it can be optimized, it can become way more readable, and I guess more efficient. First thing first, probably using nested loops here would not be ideal, but that's what I've thought of, and I hope you like it, guys. Please leave your comments under this video, and maybe with your own solution. Like and subscribe as well. Thank you, and bye bye.